What's good, world? It's the Great 32T coming to you live. Title of this message is why I didn't want to go to the NBA. Why I changed my mind about going to the NBA. So those of you know, the NBA is the National Basketball Association. Growing up, I always had this dream that I wanted to play basketball, make varsity, go to college, go to D1 college, and go to the NBA and live happily ever after. And early on in my life, I seen this as a dream. We constantly see these basketball players on television, LeBron James, the Michael Jordans, the Dwayne Wades, the Carmelo Anthony's, and you see these people as a young kid and you think that this is the way to go. You think that this is the ultimate way of success. And growing up it within high school, it really hit me that I wasn't going to a Division I college. I had the dream, but just because of the resources that I lacked, I wasn't able to go to a Division I college and play college basketball at that Division I college. Because I did have the opportunity to go to LaSalle University, which was Division I. I didn't have the opportunity to try out for that basketball team there. But, God blessed me with other opportunities. But why I didn't want to go to the NBA. Even now, I stand before you through all the struggles that I faced on my college journey, a senior at Johnson University, Florida. And this is very important because I have the opportunity right now to go professional, be a professional basketball player if I want and continue to pursue this career of the NBA. But the message of this video is why I changed my mind about going to the NBA, why I don't want to go to the NBA. And I started looking at things from a business perspective. One, my mission and my goal is to help people define who they are. I felt as though speaking, being a motivational speaker, and being an encouragement and being a light to the community was more beneficial than just being an entertainer or actor or athlete. I felt as though the power that I used was speaking and encouraging others to get to their next level and strive to be successful. I felt as though that was more beneficial than just my personal passions of, and dreams and desires of going to the NBA. When I looked at it from a business perspective, so I told you my message, but from a business perspective, right? I understood within the business, there's $1 million athlete, right? Getting paid millions of dollars. But who's paying those athletes? The owner, right? So if the owner has enough money to pay 10 people on contract millions of dollars, how much does this owner actually have? It's the power of ownership, guys. That's what really transitioned my mind, transitioned my process of thinking, because I start looking at the world in a totally different way. This summer, I had the luxury and the opportunity to train with a young man who made his first million at the age of 19, and he's now the same age as me, same age. So now I seen a person actually who is a millionaire that is operating in their purpose full time, doing what they love to do, and is the same age as me. So the only difference between us both, of course, the different birthdays, but we're the same year, same age. But the only difference is the decisions that this person made to get to this path and the decisions that I'm making to get to where I am right now. And you can categorize that in several different people, several different ways, because it doesn't matter your age. That's first off. Success doesn't have any age limit on it, but it's the decisions that you make that determine you being successful. So the power of ownership, guys. I've seen that in order for me to get a professional contract, right, I have to depend on an owner to show interest in me, right? And after that owner shows interest in me, they will pay me based on the salary of the offer of the deal. So I have somewhat of control if I have an agent, but if not, I'm doing my own negotiating because I am under someone else's ownership. I thought that in the same situation with the 9 to 5, same situation. You have to clock into a boss or a manager, right? But who pays that manager? Maybe the general manager. And who pays the general manager? Maybe the owner. And who pays the owner? A part of a company, a part of a business. He may be owning a particular franchise. So working your way up to the top, guys, I've seen ownership, and people won't just give you a role of an owner. People won't just give you the role of the CEO. People won't just give you the role of the general manager. And it's interesting to see that because there's a process, there's a step, there's certain requirements that people want you to have in order to get to that role, which is maybe a master's degree, maybe a PhD, maybe some sort of certificate, some sort of connection to be able to obtain that particular position. And sometimes it takes years of hard work and effort from working yourself up from the bottom to get to the top. So as a business owner perspective, I started seeing, why are these people successful? System. I want to take it back early in our centuries, guys, and this is a tough time for America. I want to talk about slavery in a sense. Just seeing the systems of how this country and this world kind of was built on kings, queens hierarchy, and then the people at the bottom doing all the work. I mean, these things were really tough for society, but this is the way that the world kind of shaped itself. They figured the people with more money were able to make decisions and make operations at the top, while the people at the bottom really have to do the work. I mean, even going back to um, I don't, even going back to biblical text, guys, it shows itself within history as it repeats itself. And I do say, I want to clarify, yes, slavery is wrong, but the concept of ownership is what made these people successful, is what made these people um, within that time, which gave those people in that time power. It was the power to actually own something. And you can see it as culture went on, far as the slave owner owning the slaves, slaves not getting paid, the slaves getting paid, the slaves asking for freedom, the slaves going through all these things to finally own their own part of land, to finally own their own house, to finally own their own businesses in the midst of segregation, to finally become millionaires, to finally own their own television networks, own their own media companies, own their own publishing companies, own their own businesses. And this is the evolution of the Black business itself. So it's very important, even as I look myself in the mirror, I see that I'm faced with odds every single day. And I didn't want my future to have to depend on a basketball. I didn't want my future to have to depend on someone else owning me as a person. This is where we go within freedom, guys. Freedom to make decisions, freedom to make choices, freedom to operate in your purpose. So it's very important as a person that you find ways to reach that ultimate freedom, that financial freedom. Here's an example. In business, now I'm gonna translate a little bit into business as well. In business, right now, you may receive a $40,000 a year, right, to operate in a particular position. Okay. So within that $40,000 a year, you look around and you have 20 employees. You're working for a big company, 20 people that you're connected to. All of them are making $40,000 a year. So you look around, you clock in, your 9 to 5 or whatever hours you work, and you leave, you go home, and at the end of the year, you made $40,000 for this particular company. So you personally were able to make 40,000 working with this company. But actually, how much was this company actually making because of your work? Because you clocked in, because you talked to the person, because you did that business and service, whatever they needed you to do, you did exactly what they told you to do. And you were able to bless your family with that 40. But how much did that company make for your success? When I was working in retail, worked for a company called Fossil. They sold watches. And every 6 months or every 3 months within the quarters and stuff like that, especially season changes, they're acknowledging the employees who are able to make X amount of dollars for the company. Now, it's very important to understand this. Some people were able to make $1 million working for a company and they revenued $1 million on their particular job. Were they making $1 million? No. Were they making $250,000? No. Were they making $100,000? No. Were they making even $80,000? No. We're talking about a retail manager position, right? So were they making six figures? Probably not. Maybe 50 to 45, maybe. Maybe 60, right? But when you look at it in the time, these people are making millions of dollars for companies. And I'm not saying this is bad, because some people cannot be a business owner. Some people cannot be an entrepreneur. Some people need these roles and need these positions because they feel as though it's their purpose. They may not know other ways to succeed. But as a young man, I understood the power of ownership. The reason why I don't want to go to the NBA. If LeBron James is making over $100 million a year, almost $1 billion, right? Whatever. If he's making this amount of money a year, right? Who is paying LeBron James? The businesses. So do you think that the businesses that are paying LeBron James make more than LeBron James? I want to repeat that again. Do you think the businesses that are paying LeBron James are making more than LeBron James? Do you think the business that are paying Michael Jordan making more than Michael Jordan? You gotta think about this. So it's really interesting to see who is paying these people, because them people have ownership. Now, translating that to my small business here, my small business, my startup, the interesting thing about money, it's important to understand how to invest, right? For example, I have, say, $2,000, right? I hire someone in my company to work with me. Okay. I'm able to pay this particular person a certain amount of money, and they're able to produce a result that I need within my company. This is the key theme, guys, of delegation. How do I have a vision, right? Because as an entrepreneur, this was the problem. So I said delegation, but this is the problem. As an entrepreneur, you have to do everything on your own. As an entrepreneur, you have to make the phone calls. You have to do the videos just like this. You have to do the emails, right? You have to do the logos. You have to do the logo reveals. And if you already have those things, you have to do your website. After you do the website, you have to maintain your website. After you do all of those things, getting your foundation, you have to do your EINs, you have to do all your paperwork. So after you do those things, the next step, you have to do your marketing, right? So after all your marketing, after you start promoting on Facebook, promoting on Instagram, promoting on these different platforms, right? After your marketing, you have to do your sales. You have to do your sales calls. You have to start reaching out to people, right? So after you get those sales calls and you did all your marketing, right? You have to do your sales calls. After you do the marketing, you have to make the sale. Okay, so you make the sale, you get the client. After you get the client, you did all of these things. You have to then put it in perspective. You're working with this client. You're filling the product or service that they need, right? You're working with them one-on-one, doing whatever you need to do. Something stops when you start working with your client, because you just made your money, made your first sale, but something stopped. And for me, something stopped. I realized in my business, after I started working with my clients, I had roughly about 3 clients, main clients that I was working with within the month, 3 main clients. After I started working with those clients, something stopped in my business. I realized I couldn't market while I'm working with my clients. If I'm working with this client here, I can't make a sales call. Can't make another sales call. I'm limiting myself to my own strength and my own ability. And the reason with that is because, for example, you're trying to build a house and you have to chop down every tree. You have to sand down every tree, and you don't have any help. It's going to take you a lot longer to put together that foundation. You might not even complete that project because you have other responsibilities. With that house, you still have to feed your family. With that house, you still have to go hunting. In that house, you still have to plant vegetables, whatever you need to do in that house before that house is built. You have to do so many other things. So the system of having other people in your system, right? The system of having other people in your system. So now I can say, okay, so I have 5 people on my team to help me build this house. I have one person chopping down the tree, assembly line. Think about it. One person chopping down trees, right? They chop down the trees. I have another person sanding down the tree. I have another person doing the measurements of what the oak needs to be or the tree needs to be. I have another person putting the tree together, putting the foundation together, putting the pieces together. And that's what they do all day, put the pieces together, you know? And then I'm supervising the work. I'm making sure the work gets done, and I'm making sure that it produces a result that I need it to produce. Why? Because after that house is complete, that house will be worth over $100,000, right? So it's very, very important we apply these same principles to business. A lot of people say, yes, I want to start a business. I want to be an entrepreneur. I want to make my own money. Are you making your own money on your strength? I was watching a video of 50 Cent, and I've been watching him a lot lately, of course, because he came out with the new Power, the Ghost, it looks is dope. I watched the interview, and he was like, you're not making money until you're doing absolutely nothing, and you're still making money. And that means that you don't have to do absolutely anything. But what it means is, okay, you may have set up the contract, you may have made the phone call, now you show up to the event and you made 100,000. Right? Why does this happen? Why does this happen? You don't see the owner of McDonald's doing the fries. You don't see the owner of McDonald's flipping the burgers. You don't see the owner of McDonald's saying, have a nice day. You don't see the owner of Chick-fil-A serving you your food all day saying, my pleasure. Maybe for a training, but he's not going to be doing that 9 to 5. Because why? There's someone else to complete that role. And that's what I learned in my business. This is why I don't want to go to the NBA, because I realized I will be at the expense of someone else's ownership. And it's not an issue if you're depending on it. And if I'm just depending on how good I dribble a basketball and not how good I use my brain, then even my time with that is very limited. But let's think of the space and the time that I'll actually be speaking. You know, people can speak for the rest of their life because they're giving out information. So this is something that really took me to the next level, because early on in my career as a motivational speaker, my first contract, guys, as a motivational speaker, I'll show you right here. It was the age of 19. I was doing a motivational speaking contract for a company. And this was really powerful for me, because it showed me that this was the first time that I was able to actually make money, right? The first time that I was actually able to make money. So in that time, guys, my first contract, I'm gonna show you real quick. Let me stop this. My first contract. All right. See this picture here? Don't have any dreads, anything. I'm signing my first contract for $750 to do a motivational speaking engagement. First contract, right? And on average, if I was doing that contract, guys, every week I would be a successful man. But at the same time, with this particular picture, I understood that with that one contract, with all the strength and energy I had to do to get that one contract, I had to do several things with that $750. I may have to help my mom with the car insurance. I may have to pay school books. I may have to help a little bit with the rent. You know, I may have had to pay my phone bill. May have to pay for gas to get to the event, gas to get home. May have to pay for food. So in that 750, how much did I really profit? You know, going back in this time at the age of 19, who knows? But this was the first time that I actually realized the power of ownership, the power of actually being an entrepreneur, the power of having your own business and your own dream, your own goal. So this system works, because at the age of 19, just asking and just showing up, you're able to be successful. And this contract was originally for 1,000, but with the result that came out, I could have potentially did this for $100. 19 years old, what do you need 750 for? But you're in college. But at this time in my life, I realized that I was able to be successful to make money in business. And it's all in the ads in the presentation. Now, I have something for you that's very important. The power of ownership. What happened in my business that helped me get to the level that I'm at with a college budget to be able to do these particular things, right? And the first thing was a virtual assistant. The first thing after I developed my system, after I understood that I need a marketing person, I needed an executive person, I needed a sales person, I needed a public relations person, after I realized the roles in my business, the first thing was a virtual assistant. This knowledge changed my life. And the reason, because we were able to hire contractors from the Philippines who are virtual assistants and implement them in my business. I've seen this process work. And the crazy thing, on average, a virtual assistant can work with after a college degree, right? A virtual assistant can work from $2 to $5 an hour, depending on the role and the task and the longevity. $2 to $5 an hour. So imagine, instead of me, 19 years old or 24 years old, let's fast forward now. Instead of me taking my college budget, right, going out buying a pair of shoes for $160, right, I can implement that same 160 in my business, right? So instead of buying the shoes and always having the shoes, I can use that 160 to help me make $500. I could use this 160 to help me make $1,000. I could use this 160 a month now to help me make $3,000. And if I implement the goals, it's possible. Currently, right now, I set a goal in my business because if it's too easy, it's not a goal. Waking up in the morning and putting on this t-shirt, it's not a goal. I can do that with my eyes closed. But setting a goal to make $8,000 in your business from a $160 budget is effort. It's effort and hard work, guys. And it's a system. Having the correct system to set the goals, to say, guys, this is the target, this is what we're going to do, let's execute. That's the difference from being a business owner and an entrepreneur. Crazy thing that I learned, guys. There was a gentleman actually working with his organization. He had 11 phenomenal entrepreneurs, 11 people in his business who are United States people that he did not pay, but he wanted them to develop a system for themselves to make money in their business. Seen this. Imagine being an owner, developing the system to where each individual is able to make their own amount of income. So each person has the opportunity to make their own business or own section within your corporation to make their own money, right? Each person has the opportunity to this. This is powerful. This is powerful information. Now, this person can actively engage in his role, but also make income. It's very important. So now as a business owner, you're asking them to operate in their purpose under your business and make you money, the company money, and them money. It's a powerful thing, guys. It's a powerful thing. And I believe once you have these people together, once you develop the right team, the right system, there's no reason why you can't be successful. There's no reason. Before I get off this message today, the reason why I didn't want to go to the NBA, one more. I'm going to show you something. The power of investments. This is another thing, right? So in 2019, me and my wife decided to invest, right? We decided to invest in the stock market. Now, right now, I see a lot of people investing in this Forex stuff. To be totally honest with you guys, I do not believe in this. I do not believe in Forex. You know why I don't believe in Forex? Because you get more money on signing someone up for Forex than you get on the actual investment of Forex. But it's important. Why invest in Forex if you can just sign up for free to invest in the stock market? It's stupid. It's really stupid. And why would I waste my time signing someone up knowing that they may not receive a return on their investment? It's very important, guys. It's very, very important. And a lot of people don't have this information. And the reason why you don't have this information is because people are not telling you. People are not telling you. It's no easy way to get rich. It's no easy way to get successful. You have to constantly put in the work every day. Every day you have to constantly put in the work. You have to. You have to. So I'm gonna go to my spreadsheets real quick. So I'm gonna show you the McLeod family plan, right? You see my screen here? So for example, say if you and your friend, right, got together, right, in your business. So now you're making money in your business, you're trying to grow. You know, you may have a child, a newborn, right? And by the time they're age of 18, you want to make sure that they're good to go to college, right? So what you're gonna do, you're gonna invest in the stock market. Now let's use common sense. You only invest in stocks that you know about. You only invest in companies that you know about. I'm not gonna go to the store and buy an off-brand pair of tennis shoes if I know Nike's gonna give me the quality and the success that I need within the shoes. I may see something, but if I know this company is successful, then I'm gonna go with this company. If I'm an athlete and I drink Gatorade and I'm thirsty, right? And I go to the store and I know I drink Gatorade and I know Gatorade gives me the results I need, I'm gonna purchase Gatorade, right? So it's the same thing in the stock market. You don't invest in companies you do not know. You trust the companies that you know, that you're acquainted with. Like if you think of Tesla, how successful they're doing. Nike, how successful they're doing. Microsoft, how successful they're doing. These are the type of companies that you invest in because you know about these companies. You use their Microsoft Word every single day. Every classroom in America is using Microsoft Word. You know, so you got to think about these things. Google, Amazon. Think about the future. Think about what companies are going to be the future. Think about what companies are doing great. I'm not going to invest in Kmart. They're out of business. These are things you got to think of when you're growing your business. So for example, say you're 24 years old, right? Say you're me. Say you're my age. This message is for all my 24-year-olds. Check this out. Say I'm 25, just to make the math easier. I have a kid, right? I invest $3,500 in the stock market. This is very important, right? So over the course of a year, I added $500 a month, right? The average interest rate on the stock market can vary from 7 to 12%, maybe even higher or maybe even lower, but average between 7 and 12%. So say if I'm making $50,000 a year, or I'm growing my business, I'm doing whatever, I'm making money, right? I start off $3,500. Me and my friend, we do a split. I put up half, we put up half, we come together, we got 3,500, right? So after that first year, what should be in the stocks, right? After year one, you should have 9,000 just with investing every month. Not just saving, but investing, okay? But imagine, you know, you have a kid now, but that kid is 13, right? 13 years old. You have over $217,000 in the bank. It's very important to understand this, guys. Very important. After that, right, by age 20, the kid is 20 years old, you're 45 years old, you have over $500,000 in the bank. This is the way to think, guys. This is the way to think. If you constantly, consistently do something over a rapid period of time and put it in the proper investment amount at a time, guys, I'm telling you, your blessings will multiply. And here is added. So each year, if you increase each year by 4% of money that you're adding in the account, right? Year 20, you're adding $13,000 a year in the account, right? Gotta be smart. Year 20, you have $500,000 in your account, 45. So now starting a business doesn't seem so bad. Why? Because in 20 years, I'm gonna have a $500,000 in my account. This is the way you got to think. Early on, be disciplined, do the numbers, do the things that you need to do, because eventually you will be successful. Eventually you will reach those financial goals. So why I didn't want to go to the NBA? Why? Because I started to see freedom. It's a big problem right now with the NFL, people thinking that the ownership just rules everything and it's a minority and it's not equal, less equality, less equity, it's all type of different barriers in politics and in sports, but it's beyond sports. It's financial freedom. And beyond financial freedom, peace of mind in life. That's a tough thing to have, but a peace of mind to know that you're going to be okay. Peace of mind to know that you're going to be successful. Peace of mind that if anything happens to you, you live the best life that you could possibly live. So it's very important, guys. It's very, very important to be the best version of yourself each and every day. So why I didn't want to go to the NBA as I close this message is because I knew I had an opportunity to pursue me, not just pursue a basketball, but pursue my purpose, pursue to be the person that God wanted me to be. Maybe God didn't want me to be the next Michael Jordan. He could have created me that. He could have created me 6'9", wingspan, small forward, 99 shooting overall, you know what I'm saying? Like he could have created me that. But he wanted me to be Raymond McLeod. So I encourage you, my message again to the people, I gave you a lot of wisdom, a lot of information. My message for you is to be the best version of you. And for the information, sometimes it's a price to pay for the information, but is it worth the investment? Will you make 10 times more? Of course. God gives you all the materials you need, right? When you put those materials together, bake it at the right temperature, you'll have a fresh piece of cake and it'll taste sweet because you made it, right? And if you fail, if you mess up, if you make a mistake, you adjust the ingredients, you adjust the measurements, and you try it again. The road to success is not going to be a straight up road. It's going to be up and down and up and down and up and down. But as long as you stay consistent, that's the thing. As long as you stay consistent, surround yourself by a positive team, people that's going to help you get to that next level, people that's going to elevate you, motivate you. That's how you grow. That's how you grow. So guys, why I didn't want to go to the NBA, why I changed my mind about just pursuing this basketball, because I realized it was more to life. I realized it was more to business. I realized it was more to who I am. And as I close this message, define who you are. In the weakest, in the toughest, in the times where I could have just gave up, my mentor said, Ray, you got to define who you are. And I chose the greatest. That's a bold statement. I chose the greatest. So that's why you see the great 32T, because I took my number from high school, flipped it around, the E and the S. People say the great 32T, but I chose the greatest, and I defined it the way I wanted to, because I wanted to be the greatest Raymond McLeod I could be. So you have a blessed day today, and just give you some food for thought. Chase your dreams and find your freedom. Why I didn't want to go to the NBA? Because I know I had an opportunity at freedom.